When he looks down, it's as far as the eye can see, like a gigantic tower. You can't even see the bottom. You can't even see the top. It seemingly extends forever. And this is the horror of our situation, that we live in a world of people who are still connected to no aspect of reality whatsoever. They still completely engage in, accept and believe the illusion that is projected at them by the mainstream media, the government, religion, etc. People are not in connection with truth. They are in connection with fantasy land. And they are all around us for as far as the eye can see. That is our actual situation. So the characters who are on Morpheus' ship finally rescue Neo. He gets ejected out a waste shaft, and he is picked up and he is brought on board the hovercraft of Morpheus and the other characters. The hovercraft is called the Nebuchadnezzar, and they bring him on board this hovercraft, and he's a wreck. They have to rebuild his muscles because he's never actually really moved his own muscles. He's lived in this pod. He's been grown like a plant instead of lived his life like a human being in a pod his whole life. So his muscles have atrophied. This represents the weakness that we're in when we first start waking up, when we first start coming out of illusion. Okay? That we have to build ourselves back up. Because it's like, throwing someone a weight whose muscles have atrophied. They're not going to be able to catch it. They're not going to be strong. When they're first, starting to use their muscles, they're just, getting their legs under them. So it has to be taken slow in a stepwise progression to give people information when they're first coming out of the matrix. So he asked the question at one point when they're doing this work on his body, why do my eyes hurt? And Morpheus answers, because you've never used them before. So he's telling you, you've never seen the world for what it really is. You've never really opened your eyes. You've never really used your own eyes. You've been buying into the illusions all around you, and you've never seen the world as it really is for yourself. Okay? So that's what that part represents. So Morpheus explains to him that they're on a hovercraft, and they have computer technology there that allows them to jack into the matrix and broadcast a pirate signal, which allows them to project their consciousness into the machine's programming. We'll understand what that is as we get into the story of what happened on the Earth in the movie. Okay? But basically, these are the machines that they jack into the matrix through. And here you see them, he's putting Neo into one of these machines, and he's going to show him one of their programs that they call the Construct, which is their loading and training program. Okay? So this is the construct that he takes him into, and they can project any kind of scenario that they want for training or for learning purposes. And it makes the mind experience this as if it were real, but they're actually in a computer-generated reality. So Morpheus says, when Neo is surprised and he says, this isn't real, Morpheus replies and he says, what is real? If you're talking about what you can feel, smell, taste, and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain. This is the world that you know now. The world as it was at the end of the 20th century. It exists now only as part of a neural interactive simulation that we call the Matrix. You have been living in a dream world, Neo. So in other words, the reality that he thinks is present is gone. The machines have taken over the world. Okay? And the Matrix, his former life as a software engineer, was all a projection by the machine. It wasn't the real world. The machines were projecting that reality for him to stay alive and keep engaging his mind so that they could be fed energy through that mental energy and physical energy of the body, of the person in the pod. Okay? And this is the world as it really is. It's devastating. And this is suggested that our world is devastated. Our world is completely devastated. Truth is devastated. Nature is devastated. Okay? Ourselves are devastated. We are destroyed as a people. And there's just a wasteland. The machines basically are running the show. And what that suggests is machine consciousness is running the show. So, humans are no longer born as he describes it. They are now grown in these pods. And these are harvesting machines. these big, huge octopus-like creatures are harvesting human beings that are all in each one of these little pods. And this is how they live from their birth. They're in these machines, and they feed the system. They actually give their energy to the system. This is about us feeding the system through our compliance with it. So Morpheus says that the AI that took over the world was a singular consciousness that spawned an entire race of machines. He refers to it as a consciousness. Again, it's machine consciousness. It is intellect completely divorced from any wisdom. It is intellect completely divorced from any true care or heart or compassion. That's the machine world. The world of I don't care as long as I get mine. That's the matrix that we're living in. That's the consciousness that fuels that system of control. Okay? So, he says, the machines have found all the energy they will ever need, meaning human beings. They eat us. They feed on us. He says there are fields, endless fields, where human beings are no longer born. They are grown. For the longest time, I wouldn't believe it myself. And then I saw the fields with my own eyes. Standing there facing the pure, horrifying precision of it all, I came to realize the obviousness of the truth. And here's where we get the answer to the question of the first movie. Morpheus answers the question himself. He says, what is the matrix? Control.